All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this is probably the last video like this of the season 6 of the VDL Create. This is playoff overview and predictions. For the semifinal matches, we're going to review those, and then we're going to talk about the finals match coming up. We're pretty hyped for it. Everybody's pretty hyped for it, especially the two finalists. I know both of them are really hyped for it. So I have, this is obviously Saki here, and I have Batista with me.
What's
Batista,
up?
how's it going?
I'm doing well, and I'm excited to talk about these matches. We had some very interesting matches, and this finals is shaping up to be really interesting.
It's gonna be a thrill. There's 0% chance that this is gonna be like a blowout match. Like this is gonna be down to the wire. I just know it. So, well, let's talk about the semifinal matches that just occurred. We have wait, is this wrong? I think this might be wrong.
Oh, yes, it is.
We have we have Gumi beating. No, I'm just kidding. Gumi actually lost 1-2 to the Whalelord. This is Whalelords took the set 2-1. And it was a very close set. We could talk about it. I guess we could talk about it now. First, do you have any thoughts on the match, Batista? It was a crazy set.
So yeah, the match was incredibly interesting. I think one of the big things I would say about it is it was a match that had major momentum changes where it felt like one team was in commanding on 95% chance to win position, and then just completely switches to the other side in a turn. And that happened all three games, and it was incredible to watch because of that kind of how dramatically the game switched. I can go into some specific details, but game one, Gumi was in commanding position and misses a head smash into Crobat, giving it an extra turn, and that miss ended up being the difference between winning and losing the match. Game two, a icy wind miss on the Wellward side, missing into a Garchomp, was ended up being the major deciding factor that ended up switching or losing the game. And then game three, there's basically 2 points where the Wellward switched in a Flygon, taking it down to its focus sash in on a hyper voice, and then I think 2 turns later, Gumi U-turned out and got their Garchomp hit by an icy wind, doing like 70% and making it lose a speed drop. And all three of these were completely went from like a commanding position on one side to the other side in a single turn.
You know what? I never really thought about describing the set like you just did, and I think you described it perfectly. The momentum changes in this match were ridiculous. The Steelix was ridiculous. The Ditto. I'd say from Gumi's side, the Ditto and the Aggron were, I think, were the most significant pieces. And then I would say on the Wailord side, I kind of want to. I want to say the Steelix. Tapu Fini is always sort of a factor, but I want to say the Steelix stuck out to me, and so did the Flygon. So the first of all, the Ditto transforming into the Steelix, I think pretty much won Gumi his game two. I thought the choice band head smash Aggron was actually a super awesome bring because one shotting a Tapu Fini is not easy, and it makes life a lot more difficult for your opponent when they have to be scared that their setup Finny could just go down. So I thought it was a really nice bring by the Pretzels. The Wailords, honestly, game three, dude, I know you felt it too, Matrix. When I saw that it was a 4v2 and you had like a Tapu Fini and Flygon in the red health or like a quarter HP each, I thought it was GG's. I thought it was done for you. And he came back. It was insane. He got a couple KOs really fast. The Flygon got a speed boost with the scale shot, didn't take any rough skin damage later in the game. And then, he was able to finish off the Garchomp and then the Aggron when it came out. Scald to hit it. And it was that, that couldn't have been a closer game, and that was an insane comeback. So, I don't know. Props to Matrix. I think just an incredible set. Like you said, the momentum shifts were like I mean, just from a viewer, I was scared and I was excited, and it was a I don't know. For the players, I imagine Gumi and Matrix were both just like on the edge of their seat, like sweating. Um, I don't know. What a match.
Oh yeah, no, like that's definitely the big thing with this is like the matches like these are so hard to play because, you know, you just kind of feel like you're completely lost, and your opponent probably feels like they're completely dominating, and then randomly you feel like it just switches so much that it's so hard to mentally prepare for that. And it's like the strange thing is like unlike a lot of matches that kind of feel like this, these were not because of misplays. These were because of just hard reads or slight unluckiness or things like that that led to these momentum changes. And you know, Ditto copying Steelix and having Misty Seed uh, ended up getting up to +2 special defense, just made it unkillable on their side. Uh, and things like that were caused huge momentum shifts, but like it was definitely from good plays and you know hard predictions, which I definitely think is interesting. We can definitely go into a lot of different aspects of that, but I think that kind of covers the most idea. Like there's some really good tech. I think the noteworthy ones on each side was the Ditto with Misty Seed, and then the Flygon running um, the oh my gosh, the dragon move
Scale
that
shot.
that increased Scale Shot to increase its speed. Because if Flygon had any other move that it learned other than that exact move, I think Gumi wins the match.
It just a great. I mean, I'm sure Matrix brought it for a reason, um, and it showed. It showed that prep paid off, and that idea that to bring skill shot paid off. So props to the Wailords. They are moving on to the finals, and I know they're excited. Um, I guess let's talk about the other match. So the other match was a showdown between well, definitely I would say the best. I don't want to say rookie because Chad doesn't seem like a rookie player, but this is his first season in the VDL, so a newcomer to the VDL. Definitely the strongest looking newcomer. He made it the farthest in the playoffs, and he's taken on one of the most insane VDL veterans, which is Goomer. So um, this match felt like I felt like Goomer was prepared for the worst that Chad could bring. Like he was prepared for a lot of what Chad's weapons could have been, whereas Chad was only prepared for a handful of Goomer's tech. And I think Goomer was able to take advantage. Eliminating the Corviknight in game two very quickly was enormous. I don't think the crit mattered, but
I checked the EVs. Assuming that the arc result had any attack investment, it was a guaranteed KO even without the crit.
I think it was like max tech adamant or something. But so it
Yeah,
was.
no, that's 100% guaranteed. Chad actually went over their exact EVs of the Corviknight in their stream, and so I checked that and confirmed it was a guaranteed KO without the crit.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's a super effective going first bolt beak. That's insane. Bolt beak's crazy. And then I think game one. So I think Goomer had very very good turn ones, and I think he very much wanted that. And that was part of his plan. He had very turn ones. Turn one of game one, he was able to take out the Sash Executor without letting it get a move off. And so Chad essentially switched into Ninetales and just took bulldoze damage and let his Executor go down, and it was just such a favorable turn one for Goomer. And I would say pretty much the same in game two. He just took out the Corviknight very fast, which a tailwind from Corviknight could have been really, really nice for Chad. He really could have swung the game, I think, if he would have able to get that off. But he wasn't able to. And then Goomer kind of just capitalized on the pressure he developed he established on turn one, and pretty clean win.
Yep. Oh, I agree entirely. I think Goomer basically had the optimal lead both games, and ended up completely taking a huge lead and then kind of never gave them an opportunity to get back in the game. The Scarf Zapdos outspeeding the Scarf Tapu Lele and Executor in the Sun was a huge deal. It made pretty much all the leads on the Sun Warriors side looking pretty bad. And then game one, the Doug Trio getting a bulldoze off into a Ninetales, making Ninetales slow, and getting rid of its Shukaberry was a huge deal. And then game two, as we said, the Bolt Beak into the Corviknight turn one, killing it, was a huge deal. Um, I like, it definitely felt like it was going to be more of a like a weather war than it was. It definitely, there was not much switching around. It was just a very quick, you know, kill, like, match where pretty much each person had their weather up only for like, a short time, and then they basically both of their weather setters died very quickly.
Yeah, and it was just a matter of just throwing off attacks. I don't know if Chad wanted to play as fast as Goomer did. Like Goomer's strategy was very offensive. He wanted to delete. He wanted to bulldoze, get speed control, do damage, delete any sash users, use the hail to make sash really awkward, do a lot of damage with Zapdos, do a lot of damage with Arctozolt, and it ended up working out. I think the Sun Warriors may have benefited more from a slower gameplay. Like if they were able to get the tailwind up with the Corviknight, maybe boost up, get some leftovers healing, slow down the game. I don't know that Goomer had the bulk to survive all that, um, but
Well,
he
so
did.
one thing I heard on Chad's stream that I was very surprised with is they were not expecting this hell mode from Goomer, which I'm surprised to hear that because that's the first thing I would expect to see when I was seeing the matchup because Arctozolt seems very good into the team, and obviously, the Sun Warriors are not the hardest of Sun teams, but they almost every single match have brought Ninetales, if not literally every single match.
I mean, it is a pretty. It's. I can't blame him because it's a pretty strong Pokemon, and it works well on his team, being that he has the Executor. And he has a pretty balanced team, but also just using the weather to counter opposing weather is always nice. Um, especially since he doesn't have like a very offensive water type. He has War Turtle, so it's not gonna hinder the water damage output. That he might need or a team might need. So
Mhm.
yeah, can't blame him for bringing it. I think Goomer analyzed the threats just a little better and was just prepared, and just got some good turn ones. I mean, the thing is, there was plays that Chad could have made, or there was some reads that he possibly could have made you know, to change the outcome of the match or alter, how the pressure that Goomer was putting on. Um, but it didn't work out. It would have been a hard match.
Yeah, definitely agree. But with that, Goomer kind of has a pretty convincing win to get into the finals, and we can see if Goomer will be our second two-time champion or if Matrix ends up getting their first championship.
True, and I know both of these teams are very excited, and that we have. I think is it the curse or the legend of the Whalelords, where they either lose to a previous VDL champion in the playoffs or they win. So this is the legend's going to hold true. They're either going to win or they're going to lose to a previous VDL champion. So quite the story for the Whalelords. And then the Bashers also trying to secure their second win. I mean, they have been. Let's see. They've been in two finals so far. They were runner up and then they were champion, I think. And
I
then
believe so.
last season they weren't in the finals, and then this season they're going for. So this is the third season in the finals. Pretty incredible. I know he wants the number two. I know he wants the second trophy. So I guess we can hop in and talk about this matchup between the Bashers and the Whalelords. But first, I just want to say, fantastic season by the Sun Warriors. They beat me. They were a difficult team to approach. They were a very deep team, very good player. They I at least know from my experience playing them, like they never gave me any easy opportunities to like. I had to fight for every inch against them, so they were really difficult to play against. Then the Pretzels, obviously, regular season champ, incredible season using Pokemon like Sharpedo, Aggron, and Ditto. Like I'm totally a believer in all those three Pokemon now. Um, Absolutely. So he changed my perspective on those Mons. Yeah, I'd be proud. It's not never fun to lose, but I'd still be proud. Pretty damn good seasons by both teams.
Yeah.
All right, the finals. The Bolton Bashers taking on the Welsh Warlords of Season 6 of the VDL V-Create. Here's the matchup. What do we think, Batista?
So this match actually occurred earlier in the season. So this is actually a replay of an earlier match, and that match was a nail biter. It went to 3 games, and it ended up barely winning, or the Wellords barely ended up winning on a misplay on Goomer in game 3, where they ended up, I believe, not clicking Rage Powder, which was the difference between them winning and losing on the final turn of the game. So definitely incredibly close match. In that match, the kind of the biggest players were Choice Scarf Rapidash, because Choice Scarf Rapidash is able to outspeed Arctozolt in the Hell. And other than that, the Gyarados and Swampert, which on the Bachelor sides were really big at kind of putting in a lot of offensive pressure onto their team and being really annoying. Um, and so definitely was a very interesting match. I believe that um, it ended up being the case that the Bashers just did not end up bringing their hell mode of any of the games, and so that was definitely a little bit interesting on that. But it was definitely an incredibly close match. Going into this match, I'm not exactly sure what speaks out to me, what I think is like the most notable things. I definitely think that, you know, both of the teams have some very concerning Pokemon for each other. I definitely can imagine, you know, the Hell mode actually working out pretty well if the Bashers choose to bring it. I can imagine, Tapu Fini doing quite a bit of work because honestly, the Bashers don't have the best like offensive like grasp or poison Pokemon into the Feeny. And so definitely feels like it's just gonna be a game of who wants it more and who preps better and plays better.
I agree. I think this. The thing is, I know both these players want it, and I know they can prep. They prep very deeply, and I know they're going to do that now, especially being in the finals. I don't think it's just hard to say that there's no way one of these teams hops into the match and is just like unprepared. They're both going to be prepared for various scenarios. They're going to have to adapt. I expect this to go to 3 games. Um, I think both of them have tools that can counter each other's strong modes, and both teams have counters to each other's counters. Um, there are weird aspects of the matchup, obviously, like, Goomer's team's generally weak to Fairy. Matrix has a lot of speed control, but, Goomer has weather, and some other things he can do. It's hard to predict who's gonna take this one, but man, this is gonna be. Like you said, their match during the season was really, really intense, and I expect it to be that and more.
Like the other thing that's just terrifying is the fact that if you look at their teams, there is no Pokemon on either of their teams that I just say, nah, that's not coming. Because
Oh
like
yeah,
every single Pokemon seems like a viable choice into this matchup. And that's why it's like such a strange, match to predict and to think about. Like I said, like their match was incredibly close. I think what ended up happening is like, yeah, Goomer ended up like kind of losing on a misplay, but Matrix. The only reason Goomer was winning was also because of a misplay on the Matrix's side. So they both kind of misplayed and going into game 3, and that's kind of what ended up happening that one. But other than that, like their match was so tight and so close, and even after that, it ended up being incredibly close. I wish I'd have some better insight than just, those, but like, it's like pick any Pokemon and I can give you a reason why it's viable and it seems solid.
Yeah, I want to highlight that. I want to highlight that thing or what you just said because I think it's a learning opportunity for really everyone, including myself. They have 11 viable Pokemon that have been useful all season. I mean, I know there were a couple trades made, but even with the traded Pokemon, they've made viable all 11 of their Pokemon all season. You know, like Goomer on Goomer's side, he's tier 5, the Heatmore. That has not been a situational Pokemon this season. He's brought it a lot, and it's been really good. On the side of the Wailords, like they've gone Trick Room mode. They've gone Tailwind mode. They've not. I mean, they've used the Tapu Fini a lot, but they do not rely on the Tapu Fini. The Steelix has been insane. The Bouffalant was insane. When I played against the Wailords, their Bouffalant was insane against me. The Flygon just showed up, to be incredible. Raichu and Mienshao always good. Like they just have such deep teams. It doesn't. When I look at the teams, I don't even see like I don't even know who the tier ones are necessarily. Like they just have 11 good, useful Pokemon that fit on their team, and I think that's maybe a model that other players should use when drafting. Like I know my team personally, like there was a couple Pokemon that I rarely thought to use all season, like Doug Trio. That was that's probably why I'm not in the finals because my these players drafted incredible teams, used them very very well. So yeah, I'm sure other players feel the same. Like I'm sure you had one or two or maybe even three Pokemon that just felt like they just didn't. You never really wanted to bring them. These teams are not like that. They could bring any six and they could be scary.
Yeah. Definitely feel like that. And like the other thing that's I think very interesting is that both of these teams also just did not have a easy path to even make playoffs, much less
No, no,
to make
no.
it to the finals. They both were week eights winning ends to make playoffs, and lose probably gets kicked out of playoffs. And they both went one week eight to make it into playoffs and had to no buys and made it all the way. And so like they are both very hot. They've been playing very well, and they've had tough seasons, and especially in the ends with not only who they had to play, but must win after must win after must win.
So now I can't remember. So on their path to the finals, I know Goomer beat, um, I think it was Gert, myself, and then Chad, which is not an easy schedule. Just to beat all those teams, and then the Wailords had an insane path, beating Otto, Gumi, and I forget the third one. I forget the third team they
Um,
beat. I think they.
oh, so yeah, so the playoffs it was yeah it was in the Gurchins.
Oh, and the Gurchins, like that's an insane climb. Honestly, like I don't know. This is a story for both teams. If Bashers win, they can kind of, I mean, they can kind of confidently say that they're one of the definite titans of the VDL. Like one of the extremely elite teams. Like it's an insane how often Goomer wins and how often he just makes it to the finals. On the same side, the Wailords, if they beat Goomer, they will have beaten Gumi, uh, Otto, the Bashers, and who'd you just say? I forget the team you just said.
Oh, the Gurchins.
And the Gurchins, who were I think they weren't a previous champion, were they?
No, but they were they were doing very well into the season.
They were. I know they were in the VDL previously, like early seasons of the VDL before I was here.
I
And,
don't believe so. I don't believe that they're a previous champion. Because I
but
think
but they were very
the
good.
yeah.
But I mean, that's just an insane run. So, um, oh, and then sort of a side note, one thing I'd like to point out. I think a water fairy type has made it to the finals ever since I've been part of the VDL. I think either Primarina or Tapu Fini have been in the finals the past 4 seasons, which I think
That does not surprise me because
it's kind
those
of
Pokemon
interesting.
are Yeah, that is very interesting. Like I said, it would not surprise me if that's the case. I haven't checked that, but both of those Pokemon are really good.
And obviously, people talk about Tapu Fini a lot, but Primarina is, I know it's being argued in some leagues as being, not being a tier one or anything. But anytime I see people use it, they do phenomenal. Gert used it fantastically this season, and it's made it a couple finals. So yeah, Water Fairy's pretty good. I don't know, man. We could probably dissect this matchup a lot more, but
Well, yeah, it's not. I'm sure we could, and maybe we will, but probably not in this video. I'm sure you and Goomer are going to be discussing this match, or have already discussed it quite a bit, and I'm sure Matrix, if they want, can discuss this match with me a bunch.
yeah, he's
But
Goomer called me for some advice, and I said, dude, just Swampert, Choice Scarf Mighty Water, Choice Scarf Mighty Water. That's all you need. So
hey, that worked out for you multiple matches, so I'm not gonna say that's a bad advice.
oh my gosh. Um, well, well, I guess we can wrap it up here. I don't think we have anything else to talk about. So, yeah, that should be the end of the video. Congrats to everyone for you know all the success this season. Congrats to the teams that made playoffs. This has been a crazy season, and especially congrats to Matrix and Goomer, who are going to be playing their finals match sometime soon this week. And we know it's going to be insane, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree. I definitely am excited to watch it, and hopefully y'all enjoy this video, and hopefully it gives you a little bit hype for the finals, so that we can watch it together and see what happens.
Absolutely. All right. We are out of here.